I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is.
All right, we are back in the building. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Hopefully everybody is doing well. It's good to see everybody on this Thursday morning. Let me make sure we're good. Hold on a second. I swear it is always something, but we're gonna get started. Thank you for everyone who's saying the good mornings and dropping the 1s in the chat. We should be good to go. Let's see how we looking up in here though. Ooh, yeah. We got some new lighting in here. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, Classy Beats of ClassyBeats.com. This morning, we've got some great stories for y'all. Some interesting news. Of course, we got breaking news. Sean Diddy Combs is filing a lawsuit himself. It's getting crazy up in here. Also, Tony Busby is looking like he's in trouble because y'all aren't going to believe this, but the lawyer Tony Busby just hired a lawyer. It's getting wild around here. Anyway, looking forward to chopping it up with y'all, having these great conversations. But first, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. Of course, my awesome, amazing Amy is in here first thing this morning. Appreciate you, Amy. Thank you for being here as well. We got Michi in the building. A Fitz is in here. Alabama Gigi, Miss Versailles, Valencia, Monterisa, Terry, Alejandra, Ryan S, Terry. Taco Tuesday is in here. Libby, good to see you from South Carolina. We've got Susan in the building. Kel Bell, the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell says, I'm going to get written up for tardiness. I know. You know what? I'm going to make a commitment right now. Y'all remember this and hold me accountable. On 1/23/2025, I will not be late for another show this year. All right? I'm making that commitment to you today. Kel Bell's holding me accountable. I appreciate it. Shout out to the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell in here. We got Cynthia, Letitia, Gigi Lynn is in the building. Good morning. Just Lee's up in here. Mo Mack is in here as well. We got Sabrina, Peter, my guy. We got Danny in real life. Miss 86 is up in here. Who else did I get? We've got Aaron Wallace in here. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. We've got CPE 84, 874 TKS. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I took the time to read all that out, but shout out to C in the building. Demetrius is back in here. What's up, man? Shadow Fox, good morning. Bridget, Trisha, R is for repair. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Got a good bit of news to cover today. If y'all could do me a favor, you see on the screen Amy reminding y'all to like the video. Not only are likes free, not only does it help the show continue to grow, but lets the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show, and it shares the video with more people. So if y'all could take a second and like the video for me, I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get into it, and I'll also be reading super chats as we go throughout the show as well. Here we go. So first up, we've got our guy, Tony Buzbee. Now, if you don't know who Tony Buzbee is, he is the one who is spearheading a lot of these lawsuits that are going against Diddy. Over 100, he mentioned in a recent press conference, over 100 lawsuits have been brought to him. They're still sorting through a lot of the lawsuits that came through. They have settled some of the lawsuits that have been filed already. But he's most famously known for this lawsuit that recently came out with this alleged victim who was 13 years old at the time this alleged incident happened. She went to an after party for the VMAs. Diddy, another celebrity female, and Jay-Z were there. And Jay-Z's mentioned in this lawsuit. They alleged that Jay-Z assaulted this 13-year-old at the party. Then it came out that some of the things that she alleged in this lawsuit, she may have misremembered. We're not going to get into that. So anyway, that's who Tony Buzbee is. He's going against Diddy, going against Jay-Z, and pretty much anybody that was in and around the scene at that time when Diddy was on his way to rising into his power that he has now. So now, in light of that, Jay-Z has not backed down. He's been firing back at Tony Buzbee with lawsuits and memorandums and motions, basically trying to show the judge that mentioning Jay-Z in this lawsuit was a mistake. And in most recent events, Tony Buzbee has now hired his own attorney. And it's starting to look like he might be losing this one. So what happened? Shout out to Megan Kuniff over on X for posting this. She says 2 new lawyers have joined the assault case against Jay-Z, and they're representing not only the person who is alleging that Jay-Z did these things, but they're also representing Tony Buzbee too. It's very interesting that a lawyer's like, hey, can y'all help me out here? What do they say? Jane Doe versus Diddy, Jay-Z, and all these other entities here. Please take note that Mark P. Ressler of, I'm not going to pronounce that, KBT LLP, an attorney admitted to practice in this court, hereby enters an appearance as counsel for the plaintiff Jane Doe and for the plaintiff's attorney Anthony Tony G. Buzbee. Yikes. In the above captioned action, and respectfully request that all further papers and correspondence be served upon him. All right, so Tony Buzbee is over there shaking in his boots allegedly because he's having to get some representation, which is crazy. And then they also say, please take notice that he has Veronica, I've never seen it spelled like that, Veronica A. of KBT LLP, an attorney admitted to practice in this court, hereby enters an appearance as counsel for plaintiff Jane Doe and for plaintiff attorney Tony Anthony Buzbee in the above captioned action, and respectfully requests that all further papers and correspondence be served upon her. So apparently Tony Buzbee's tired of dealing with this. Y'all have to let me know what you think about this. Is this an indication that Jay-Z might be in trouble, and now that Tony Buzbee has some lawyers representing him, or is there more to this than we know? Because it's seeming like Tony Buzbee is worried about how this is going to play out. Maybe there's some missteps there and he needs representation to help him work through this. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know what you think in the comments. We also have a response here. So what is this motion? Y'all check this out. This is the plaintiff's memorandum of law in opposition to defendant Sean Carter's motions for sanctions. If you remember, Jay-Z was, again, obviously upset about the accusations that were being levied against him by Tony Buzbee and the tactics that he was using to do that. So what happened is he asked the judge to input some sanctions against Tony Buzbee, basically making him pay for the way he's gone about handling this lawsuit in general. So now it looks like Tony Buzbee's attorneys are already getting to work, and they just filed this as of yesterday afternoon. So what are they saying in this new memorandum? We're going to get into it. First, the plaintiff and her counsel, Anthony Busby, Tony Busby, and the Busby law firm together, Busby, we're going to call them, respectfully submit this memorandum of law in opposition to the motion of defendant Sean Carter and the Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure to dismiss the plaintiff's amended complaint and to award him monetary sanctions against Busby. What are they saying? Carter's motion amounts to an outrageous and unprecedented attempt to silence a plaintiff who alleges that 24 years ago, she was 13 years old. Defendants Carter and Combs assaulted her, allegedly. Carter's celebrity status does not entitle him to special treatment by the courts, which they already got in trouble with the judge for that, and they kind of backed off and then started to do things the right way. And certainly not on the mere say-so of his lawyers, and this court has recognized. Yep, we just mentioned that. We've got I'm not going to try and say their name. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. And that was what the Judge Torres said in this case, right? Relying solely on what his lawyers say are inaccurate details in the plaintiff's accounts of this horrific assault, Carter asked the court to ignore the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure and, as a sanction for what his lawyers falsely say was Busby's failure to investigate, summarily dismiss plaintiff's well-placed FAC in its entirety, which would run roughshod over her right to take discovery and prove her claim before a jury. So basically they're saying they're trying to cut this off before it even goes through the proper process. Although when it comes to Busby's failure to investigate, he did admit that, allegedly. He did admit that according to the NBC interview that they did. And he said, well, maybe we didn't vet her like we should have, which is kind of wild for them to say. Either way, even assuming the plaintiff misremembers details from 24 years ago, that is no basis for evading the requirement of Rule 12 by dismissing her FAC under Rule 11, but solely on purported factual disputes concerning those details. This is especially true where, as here, the purported factual disputes concern details arising solely from the memory of a victim. Here, a child victim of abuse. We'll say it that way, which it is well established typically causes memory lapses. So they're saying, of course, she's not going to remember. She was a child and she was involved in something that was very traumatic. But we also have other things surrounding that which say that maybe this didn't happen at all. Again, her father, the fact that there was no house that fit the description. Again, maybe she misremembered the house, right? We also have the way she describes being able to get to the after party doesn't make any sense because of distance. Her father saying, I don't remember picking her up from the gas station that she allegedly walked to in the middle of the night or early in the morning. The fact that the VMAs in 2000 weren't set up the way that she said it was set up or the way that she remembered. So even if you go to 2003, a lot of people are saying, oh, if you go to 2003, it actually looks like she's telling the truth. No, because the situation is still the same. There was no party there, and it's been documented that that was the case. So we got to move on from this. But Tony Busby seems like he's really willing to fight this. In fact, Carter's lawyers themselves got flatly wrong one of the details they falsely claim undercut the plaintiff's claim, asserting that at the time of the assault, Carter's co-defendant Combs did not own the house where the assault may have taken place. In fact, Combs did own the house. And they show that in pages 17 through 18. We'll get to later. Carter's lawyers purported certainly about what happened to the plaintiff. It's thus utterly unjustified. The NBC report, on which they principally rely, itself acknowledged that its purported findings do not necessarily mean the allegations are false. In ECF 6-1 at 3, that acknowledgement alone under applicable law removes any possible justification for Rule 11 sanctions here. In any event, when stripped of their salacious rhetoric, Carter's lawyers challenged plaintiff's allegations and recollections regarding watching the MTV VMA Awards shown on a Jumbotron, speaking to a limousine driver during the show, the location after party at which she was assaulted, speaking to a celebrity at the party, and plaintiff's father picking her up after she was assaulted. Also, as shown further below, none of those purported challenges are meritorious, and none come close to proving, as they must, to justify any Rule 11 sanction, let alone the most drastic sanction of all, dismissal, that Carter did not assault the plaintiff, or that, as Carter's lawyers also falsely say, Busby did not sufficiently investigate and was not permitted to rely on the plaintiff's unequivocal recollection that Carter assaulted her. So if I understand this correctly, what they're basically saying is that, yes, some of this information might be wrong. She may not have been at the VMAs. There may not have been a Jumbotron. There might not have been a limo driver. Her father might not have picked her up. But it could have taken place maybe 2 days later. Jay-Z was at a gas station getting ready to go out on his yacht, and he saw her walking by. And then Jay-Z assaulted her and went on his way. They're basically saying Jay-Z still may have assaulted her. It just may not have taken place in this exact way. That's crazy. This is wild, man. It shows you how insane these lawsuits are, because you can completely misrepresent what the facts were surrounding it, and you still have the opportunity to move forward. You still have to go through the legal process. You still have to go before a jury. You still have to plead your case. You still have to pay the money for the lawyer, and so on and so forth. And that's essentially what they're saying here is, hey, maybe she got it wrong, but it doesn't matter, because the fact is Jay-Z still could have assaulted her. I mean, back in 2003 or back in 2000, as the lawsuit says, I was 10. I mean, I guess basing it off of what they're saying, I could have assaulted her, right? I was 10 years old, but hey, she may have gotten it wrong, but it could have been me. The law is crazy, man. As the courts have made clear, Rule 11 sanctions will be imposed only in extraordinary circumstances. And you see Gluck Corporation versus Rothenhaus, of which celebrity status is not one. Here, there are no such circumstances at all, let alone extraordinary circumstances justifying sanctions against Busby. In fact, it is out of judicial concern for encouraging zealous advocacy that the courts maintain a high bar for establishing a Rule 11 violation. But over the top zealous advocacy is precisely what, as this court has also recognized, Carter's lawyers are engaging in, of which this motion is the latest and worst manifestation. Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. And again, Judge Torres said that when she responded to everything that was going on with the back and forth between Jay-Z and Tony Busby. Contrary to Carter's lawyers' baseless assertions, Busby included the allegations against Carter in the FAC only after an investigation, including numerous interviews of the plaintiff and vetting of the information the plaintiff provided, that more than satisfied Rule 11 requirements, because it was done by the other law firm, obviously. On the other hand, Carter's lawyers' motion, which they filed even in the face of this court's discouraging them from doing so, is nothing more than an improper attempt to intimidate the plaintiff and her counsel, and is factually and legally meritless. I don't know about that one. If anyone has violated Rule 11, it is Carter and his lawyers, who under Rule 11(c)(2) should be sanctioned by awarding the plaintiff and her counsel the attorney's fees and costs incurred in having to respond to their motion. I mean, this back and forth is wild. Here's the background. As set forth herein, and in accompanying Busby's declaration, plaintiff's counsel's pre-filing investigation was thorough and satisfied under Rule 11. How so? In early October of 2024, Jane Doe was referred to the Busby law firm and Tony Busby himself by the Ava, we'll call them the Ava Law Group. So we now know officially who the law group that referred her to Tony Busby is, because we hadn't seen them mentioned before. The plaintiff's co-counsel in this action. Before that referral, attorneys at the Ava Law investigated the veracity of the plaintiff's allegations. The plaintiff went through Ava Law's intake process, which the Busby law firm understood to include numerous interviews, including an interview by at least one and possibly more attorneys. The problem with this is, and I'll keep reading and maybe they'll get into it in a second, is that the issue that Jay-Z and Alex Spiro had with Tony Busby is that he didn't do his part, which just writing off on an interview that another law firm did, Alex Spiro argued, isn't sufficient. Tony Busby still should have done his own investigations and his own interviews, even though it was referred to him. We'll see how it goes. Only when the attorneys at Ava Law were convinced that the plaintiff's allegations were true did they refer plaintiff to Busby. In addition, the attorneys at Ava Law prepared an initial version of the original complaint. Two attorneys at the Busby law firm interviewed the plaintiff, fact-checked various aspects of the plaintiff's complaint, and revised the complaint prior to its filing. This is hard to believe for me because we've even seen so many inconsistencies pointed out in the story just from simple research, whether that be the Jumbotron, the house, the area during that time. Maybe they're just going to say we got the date wrong. It was 2003 instead of 2000. But it seems like a simple fact check would allow you to see that a lot that was going on during this time didn't happen in 2000. Either way, prior to the filing of the FAC and naming Carter as a defendant, Mr. Busby and the other firm attorneys engaged in further rigorous due diligence to investigate the veracity and legal viability of the plaintiff's claim. The Busby firm's efforts included, among other things, intensive interviews amounting to cross-examinations of plaintiff by 3 or 5 attorneys, both alone and in teams, and research and verification of numerous details in the plaintiff's account. If that's the case, then how did she completely fold during this NBC interview? And why did she do the interview in the first place? This doesn't make sense to me. If they did all of this work and they're saying they were so thorough and they did, what did they say? Intensive interviews. How did she get on NBC and just completely ruin everything they had done? That's wild to me. Either Tony Busby told her not to do it and she wanted to do it, or this is just some grand scheme by Tony Busby to make some type of weird chess move. I don't know how they could go through all this and she got up there and just said, "Oh yeah, I don't remember." The Busby law firm ran a background check on the plaintiff and retained a retired police detective to research and confirm other aspects of the plaintiff's account. The Busby firm also conducted research to confirm the close connection between Carter and Combs, which further bolstered the conclusion that the plaintiff's allegations were plausible, credible, and warranted legal recourse. Well, they said that they believed they were true earlier, but we'll let that go. Plaintiff's allegations that on September 7, 2000, she, then 13 years old, went to Radio City Music Hall. They are doubling down on 2000 in New York City to try to attend the VMAs. As the plaintiff did not have a ticket to the show, she watched the VMAs on the Jumbotron outside. There was no... Oh, man, I'm so confused. I need one of our resident attorneys to help me out. Kel Bell, Javier M. Bailey, Joshua Van Lawn. Can y'all help me out with this? Why are they doubling down on the September 7th, 2000 date? Because we know for a fact that there was no Jumbotron. We know for a fact that the after party didn't take place at the place and the way it took place that was stated in this claim. So I don't understand why they would be here doubling down, unless it's maybe just to buy them time. I don't get it. The plaintiff alleges on September 7th, 2000, She, then 13 years old, went to Radio City Music Hall in New York City to try to attend the VMAs. As the plaintiff did not have a ticket to the show, she watched the VMAs on the Jumbotron outside. In hopes of talking her way into either the VMAs or after party, the plaintiff also approached and spoke to several limousine drivers parked nearby the VMAs, which is impossible. It's absolutely impossible. Parked next to the VMAs. One of whom claimed to work for Combs and told her that the plaintiff fit what Diddy was looking for, and he invited her to an after party. Later that evening, the driver brought the plaintiff to an after party at what plaintiff believed to be a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. Inside the party, the plaintiff recognized and spoke to several celebrities. After accepting a drink from a member of the waitstaff, plaintiff began to feel woozy and lightheaded, at which point she found an empty bedroom to rest in. But soon after, Combs, Carter, and another individual, Celebrity B, entered the room, at which Combs grabbed her and said, "Are you ready to party?" Thereafter, both Carter and Combs held the plaintiff down and assaulted her. Plaintiff was able to escape after fighting back, and she ultimately made her way to a gas station where she called her father, who then picked her up shortly before dawn. And he said that didn't happen. Carter's efforts to intimidate the Busby law firm. What else did he do? Since the initiation of this lawsuit, more than 24 past and current employees of clients of the Busby law firm have reported being approached and harassed by individuals claiming to be investigating Busby. And this was mentioned before, and they alleged it in something that they filed and sent to Judge Torres, going so far as to urge the clients to bring meritless lawsuits against Busby, including regarding his attempts to get justice for Carter and Combs' victims and offering them money to do so. This has resulted in several frivolous lawsuits against Busby. In filing in this action, Carter's lawyers have repeatedly referred to these lawsuits to discredit Busby. Based on the investigation efforts made by the Busby law firm and others, the Busby law firm and others, the Busby firm has filed several cases for barratry on behalf of its clients who were offered money to file a claim against the Busby law firm. These cases detail the illegal activities of the investigators and those behind them, who are believed to be Carter through his entertainment company, Roc Nation, and Carter's lawyers. And they actually said, Tony Busby said in one of his filings that they were able to identify somebody who worked for Roc Nation. And Kel Bell said doubling down makes no legal sense. Shout out to the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell. There's I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I don't get why they would be doubling down. And thank you, Honorable Attorney Kel Bell, for saying that. It's just weird to me that they would say all of this happened and say, yeah, this is the case, when we know for a fact in 2000 this was impossible. Even just looking at pictures from that time that were taken, it was impossible. I don't know. I'm going to keep reading through this, and we'll maybe chop this into another video, but y'all got to let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat about this. Wow. Can y'all give it up to our honorable attorneys in here? Shout out to the Honorable Kel Bell in the building. Appreciate you being here. Am I missing something? I know y'all know I can't read, so I gotta go back and maybe see, but I can clearly see they said the plaintiff alleges on September 7th of 2000 that this happened. I don't get it. Rice Street's in here. Oh, did I see Rice Street? Happy birthday to Rice Street, man. Thank you for being here, Rice Street. I appreciate you. It's Rice Street's birthday, y'all. And Rice Street said he was going to call in today. Are you still calling in, Rice Street? This whole thing is crazy. They started a case now backing up. This is crazy. Yeah, maybe he does know something that we don't know. But even taking her NBC interview aside, taking the statement from her father aside. If you go back and look at what was happening during the VMAs in 2000, and in some aspects, even 2003, people want to say, oh, it's 2003. In 2000, it would have been impossible for her to get near the limos. It would have been impossible for her to watch the VMAs on a Jumbotron. They put that in quotation marks, which is interesting because maybe they'll say, oh, well, it wasn't a Jumbotron. She actually meant it was a TV screen. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just reading this as a person who has a little bit of common sense and understands what's going on in this case and being able to see the back and forth. They put Jumbotron in quotation marks here. So I have a feeling that that's going to come into play later on. Oh, well, you know, it wasn't a Jumbotron. Maybe it was just a big TV. Yeah. And someone said in the chat, the interviews were for Tony Buzbee to be like, hey, my client, you know, she has a disability. So y'all just bear with me while I figure this BS out. Oh, man. Rice Street said, I'm hungover for too many Bud Lights. Y'all, man, can y'all type Rice Street in the chat? Rice Street is one of the biggest supporters of this channel. Amazing moderator, always giving great content, great commentary. And it's his birthday today. I'm not going to say your age, Rice Street, unless you want to say it, but he was partying up late last night. I always appreciate you being here, Rice Street. Hopefully you have a happy, happy, happy birthday. LTO says it would be more honorable for Buzbee to be like, yo, my bad. Man, oh, Rice Street, I thought you were going to pull the trigger on Benny. Benny's up out of here, though. We got Benny out of the way. I think I'm going to keep going through this one. Y'all let me know. I think my reading's been a little bit average or maybe above average today. I want to keep going through this document, though, because it's really interesting to see how they're walking us down and building up their case. So I want to know what conclusion they come to after this. Yep, Rice Street said the big 4-3. Happy 43rd birthday to Rice Street, man. Yeah. And good morning to everybody who's just stopping by too. That's amazing, man. Happy birthday to Rice Street. Amy with the super sticker as well, dropping the cake. Shout out to Amy with the 149 super sticker. Thank you, Amy. And that yeah, shout out to Amy with the cake. Happy birthday, Rice Street. Y'all say happy birthday, happy birthday. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And thanks for being here on your birthday too, Rice Street. Let me know if you want to call in. I know you say you're hungover from partying up too hard last night, but if you want to call in, I told you I'd let you. If not, you can call in either tomorrow or Friday night on the Song of the Night Live. But let's keep going with this. So we're going to go ahead and get back into this memorandum that was filed by Tony Buzbee's new attorneys and see where they're trying to go with this, because it seems like they're doubling down on everything that Tony Buzbee said and everything that was somewhat discredited by Jay-Z and Alex Spiro. So we're going to get into it and keep going to see what they have to say with this. They're accusing Carter's efforts to intimidate Tony Buzbee's law firm. Since the initiation of this lawsuit, more than 24 past and current employees and clients of the Buzbee law firm have reported being approached and harassed by individuals claiming to be investigating Tony Buzbee, going so far as to urge the clients to bring meritless lawsuits against Buzbee, including regarding his attempts to get justice for Carter and Combs victims and offering money to do so. This has resulted in several frivolous lawsuits against Buzbee. In filing in this action, Carter's lawyers have repeatedly referred to these lawsuits to discredit Buzbee. Based on the investigation efforts made by the Buzbee law firm and others, the Buzbee law firm has filed several cases for barratry on behalf of its clients who were offered money to file a claim against the Buzbee law firm. These cases detail the illegal activities of the investigators and those behind them, who are believed to be Carter through his entertainment company, Roc Nation, and Carter's lawyers. All right. The NBC interview. Here we go. This one was tough to watch. If y'all haven't watched it, we reviewed it in another video. I'll have that in the description for y'all, because this NBC interview absolutely blew this entire case out of the water, in my opinion. On December 13, 2024, 5 days after naming Carter as a defendant, the plaintiff sat for an interview with NBC to recount what she called the catastrophic event that would, quote, ruin her life. When questioned by NBC about what it claimed were some potential inconsistencies in her allegations, the plaintiff told NBC that she stands by her allegations overall. NBC itself acknowledged that inconsistencies in her account of the incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago do not necessarily mean that the allegations are false. And this is what Tony Buzbee's lawyers are saying here. Yeah, maybe it didn't happen at the house. Maybe it happened in the car in the parking lot at the VMAs. It could have been anything. All we know is that it's plausible that this could have happened. NBC noted that the plaintiff's father purportedly did not recall picking her up from the gas station the next morning, as plaintiff alleges, despite it being approximately a 5-hour drive. Okay, y'all got to walk it down, Tony Buzbee's lawyers, because it seems like y'all are saying that this claim is BS. The plaintiff told NBC that she stood by her claim and that her father may have misremembered. During the interview, plaintiff told NBC that musician Benji Madden was one of the celebrities she spoke to at the party in question, but NBC determined that Madden was on tour in the Midwest at the time. In response, the plaintiff explained, honestly, what is clearest is what happened to me and the route I took to what happened to me. Not all the faces there are as clear. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Again, thank God she didn't say I was there. I was 10 years old. I don't remember where I was in September of 2000. I don't know. I was probably on vacation in Florida with my grandparents or something. But thank God she didn't say it was me, because I guess I could be mentioned in this lawsuit too. Good God. Finally, NBC also reported that Carter and Combs had been photographed at VMA's after parties in Manhattan that night, and neither of the venues of those parties matched the plaintiff's description of the house she was assaulted in. However, NBC also noted that Combs and Carter's whereabouts for the entire evening are unclear, and it is not clear what time those images were taken, or if Combs and Carter attended any other after parties. If y'all want to get an inside look into what exactly happened that night, go check out Dennis Byron. He was there. He was there at the after party in 2000 on September 7th, and he took pictures of lots of celebrities that were there. He took pictures of Jay-Z. He took pictures of Diddy. He took pictures of, oh my gosh, why is her name Jennifer? What's her last name? Jennifer Lopez. Why could I not remember that name? He took pictures of all the people that were there at the party. And he said the party went on and on and on and on, probably till 3 a.m. in the morning. So again, if y'all want to hear a firsthand description of, or depiction, I should say, of what happened that night in 2000, go check out Dennis Byron. He breaks the whole thing down. However, NBC noted that Combs and Carter's whereabouts for the entire evening are unclear, and it is not clear what time those images were taken or if Combs and Carter attended any other after parties. The plaintiff also explained that she didn't know exactly where we were going, or even how long it took. Mr. Buzbee told NBC, "We have attempted to confirm the correct location. The plaintiff has been very specific and detailed about the description of the venue she says she was taken to. We won't speculate on whether there was an after party because, again, she doesn't know that. She just made it up. All she knows is that, according to her, Jay-Z assaulted her, Diddy assaulted her, and there was a celebrity B that was there when it all went down." As Buzbee also stated to NBC, the plaintiff remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. Buzbee further explained, "We always do our best to vet each claim made."
Stop the cap.
All right. Just as we did in this case. Plaintiff also told NBC, "You should always fight for what happened to you. You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself," just like Jay-Z's doing, I guess. "You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I I came forward. Procedural history. The original complaint in this matter was filed anonymously on October 20th, 2024, and it also did not mention Jay-Z, just to point out, against Combs and the other corporate defendants. Plaintiff filed a motion to proceed in the litigation anonymously on October 24th, 2024, which the court provisionally granted on November 6th of 2024. The complaint was amended on December 8th of 2024 to add Jay-Z to the allegations of the assault and abuse. Again, the plaintiff sought to proceed anonymously. On December 9th of 2024, Carter thought through his counsel filed a motion to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously. They want to expose her. On December 13th, 2024, Carter's lawyers filed a pre-motion letter informing the court of their intent to immediately file for sanctions and requested a shortening of the 21-day safe harbor provision in Rule 11. And Rice Street said, so is Dennis saying it happened? Dennis Byron is saying it did not happen. He said it would have been impossible. They were there at the party. They were there the entire time. And if you look at some of the pictures, Jennifer Lopez, he said she was where he said it would have been impossible for what they're saying to happen. He was there. He was taking pictures. They shut the party down. They were there until well into the morning. And he was aware of Jay-Z and Diddy's whereabouts the entire after party. That's all I'll say. Just go check out this video on it. If you just type in Dennis Byron, Jay-Z, you'll be able to find it. On December 13th of 2024, Carter's lawyers filed a pre-motion letter informing the court of their intent to immediately file for sanctions and requested a shortening of the 21-day safe harbor provision in Rule 11. Then on December 18th of 2024, Carter's lawyers filed an emergency motion to strike the FAC and dismiss Carter from the action. And to me, that was Tony Busby's way out. Because now he's having to hire his own attorneys. This whole thing just looks like a mess. It really should be focused on the claimant and trying to figure out if this happened or not. Now you've got this whole other thing that's going on. It could be merited. It could be not. We won't know until a decision's made by the court. On December 26th of 2024, the court issued an order admonishing Carter's lawyers for repeatedly attacking Mr. Busby's ethics and motives, denying Carter's emergency motion to strike and denying Carter's attempt to shorten the safe harbor period 1 day. Basically, Judge Torres said, hey, y'all are tripping. We are not doing this. Just because you're Jay-Z doesn't mean you can change the rules, right? Despite the court having admonished Carter's lawyers in its December 26th order that the court discourages the filing of their Rule 11 motion without first seeking leave of court, they nonetheless did so. Well, they didn't say don't do it. They just said we just discourage it, which is fine. What did the motion say? We reviewed this. In a December 13, 2024 pre-motion letter, Carter's lawyers stated that they intended to immediately file this motion for sanctions and request an expedited briefing schedule from 21 days to 1 day. All right, they were tripping on that one. On December 17, 2024, Busby reviewed a copy of Carter's Rule 11 motion. On December 20th, Busby filed his opposition to Carter's lawyers' pre-motion letter, arguing that any Rule 11 motion on allegations concerning a child assault victim would be frivolously and would itself be a subject to a Rule 11 motion in response. Dang. Busby pointed Carter's lawyers to authority, recognizing that a victim who was a minor at the time of the assault could not be expected to have exacting recall and a command of all relevant facts. Okay, and then they go into listing the legal standard here. We'll skip over that because it's super boring. Argument. Under any standard, and certainly not under the high bar and very last resort of Rule 11, there is no basis here to impose any sanctions, let alone dismissal against plaintiff to her or her counsel. Now, with that being said, what do y'all think? Do you think these accusations that Jay-Z and Alex Spiro are levying against Tony Busby meet either a high bar, just in your opinion, or the very last resort? From a legal standpoint, I personally can kind of see what Tony Busby's lawyers are saying. Because again, legally, when it comes to these types of lawsuits, do you have to have everything exactly right? From what they're saying, what they're arguing, no. So if there were certain facts that were maybe left out or changed or not consistent, their argument is there still could have happened that Jay-Z assaulted her. And judge, if you just let us go to court and prove that, we'll iron out all these wrinkles. We just want to get this started. And we want to show that Jay-Z and Diddy and Celebrity B did something wrong. And we need to get this before a jury. So in that instance, do y'all think it meets the high bar and the very last resort? Or are these minor details something that can be ironed out in court and figured out as we go throughout the process? It's a tough conversation to have, because again, common sense and the way we think things go are really different from what the law says. So that's something to think about. Either way, what Carter's motion amounts to is an outrageous and unprecedented attempt to silence a plaintiff who alleges that 24 years ago, when she was 13, Carter and his co-defendant Diddy assaulted her. Carter's celebrity status does not entitle him to special treatment by the courts, and certainly not on the mere say-so of his lawyers, as this court has recognized. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it, said the judge. Oh, man. Relying solely on what his lawyer says, principally based on the NBC report, are inaccurate details in her account of this horrific alleged assault. They left that word out. Carter asked this court to ignore the federal rules of civil procedure, and as a sanction for what his lawyers falsely say was Busby's failure to investigate, summarily dismiss plaintiff's well-pleaded FAC in its entirety, which would run roughshod over her right to take discovery and prove her claims before a jury. Basically saying the same thing I just said. Even assuming that the plaintiff misremembers details for 24 years ago, that is no basis for evading the requirement of the Rule 12 by dismissing her FAC rule under Rule 11 based solely on purported factual disputes concerning those details. This is especially true where, as here, the purported factual disputes arise solely from the memory of a victim. Here, a child victim, allegedly, of abuse, which it is well established typically causes memory lapses. And again, they're kind of repeating the same thing they said earlier, right? Yes, we'll move forward here. They cite some case law. We're going to skip over that. Indeed, it is for that reason that the court routinely permits expert testimony to explain various syndromes that impact a victim's memory and other behaviors. So, again, could the NBC move be a way, as somebody said in the chat, for Tony Busby to cover himself and be like, hey, y'all, you can see my client has mental health issues. My client struggling because of what happened to her. So you're going to have to give us some grace as we move through this, because maybe there's some things left out. Maybe certain things don't add up. So was that a chess move by him? Did he do that intentionally just to show that maybe she doesn't remember the entire story? If that's the case, man, I'm going to stay far away from these lawsuits as I possibly can. Indeed, it is for that reason that courts routinely permit expert testimony to explain various syndromes that impact a victim's memory and other behaviors. But you still have to prove that Jay-Z was the one that did it. Permitting expert testimony to explain that victims of assault may disassociate during the crime or continue to disassociate afterwards, and that the same process also affects the victim's memory of the traumatic incident, leading to severe memory deficits. Internal citations and quotations omitted. The People versus Spicola says, we have long held evidence of psychological syndromes affecting certain crime victims to be admissible for the purpose of explaining behavior that might be puzzling to a jury, such as delayed reporting, recantation, and inconsistently. Internal citations and quotations omitted. Again, that's all well and good, but as the jury in the court of public opinion. We're looking at this lawsuit or this claim at face value and what the claimant is saying happened. And when we look at it, it just doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. You guys have said that over and over in the chat and in the comments. Something isn't adding up. I don't get it. So that's all. Oh, that's nice. You're going to bring in an expert that's going to say, oh, well, because this traumatic thing happened, she may have some lapses in memory and maybe it didn't take place at the VMAs. Maybe it took place in a deserted area where there was a gas station with no cameras and Jay-Z happened to drive through there. And oh, there was a little lapse in time. He spent a little too much time at the gas station. So maybe beyond a reasonable doubt, again, the burden of proof isn't as heavy in civil cases, but maybe during that time he assaulted this victim. Man, it's wild, y'all. It's wild. As the courts have made clear, Rule 11 sanctions will be imposed only in extraordinary circumstances, of which celebrity status is not one. Dang, they're saying he wants this just because he's a celebrity. No, he wants this to happen because it's a bad look. And he's saying it's not true. Here, there are no circumstances at all, let alone extraordinary circumstances, justifying sanctions against Busby. In fact, it is out of judicial concern for encouraging zealous advocacy that the courts maintain a high bar for establishing a Rule 11 violation. But over-the-top zealous advocacy is precisely what, as this court has also recognized, Carter's lawyers are engaging in, of which this motion is the latest and worst manifestation. All right, so they're saying a lot of what they said in the introduction over and over. Carter's lawyers do not and cannot show that Busby's investigation was inadequate. How so? Busby's investigation unquestionably passes muster under Rule 11, and his refusal to withdraw the plaintiff's claim against Carter unquestionably is justified and indeed mandated by the applicable professional ethics. Given that Carter's lawyers challenged that investigation based principally on an NBC News report questioning certain details in plaintiff's allegations, but NBC itself acknowledged that its report did not establish that the plaintiff's claim was false. Yeah, I don't think NBC was saying that. NBC was saying, oh, this story is wild, but hey, whatever, we're just going to report it and y'all do what you want to with it. Moreover, when Carter's lawyers relied on their own investigation concerning the ownership of the house where the assault may have taken place, they got the details wrong. They're saying that Diddy actually did own the house at the time, showing that Combs owned the property in question beginning in 1998, contrary to Carter's lawyers' representation that he did not own it until 2001. As discussed above, both the Busby law firm and co-counsel who referred the plaintiff to Busby's law firm, the Ava Law Group, performed extensive diligence on the plaintiff and her claims, including background checks, intensive interviews, and research and verification of numerous details, including by a retired police detective. Only after all of this was done, and after Mr. Busby and the firm determined the plaintiff's allegations were credible, was the FAC filing alleging, among other things, on that on September 7th of 2000, Carter and Combs drugged and assaulted her at an after party following the VMAs. I'm not going to get into the psychological part of it, but man, it seems like everybody's different, I guess. But I mean, how much of this did she make up? And is it just the wrong year? Because she's saying she misremembered things, and they're saying, okay, well, because of the trauma, she probably misremembered things. So which parts are she misremembering? I don't know how this works. I need y'all attorneys to help me out. How is this going to work in court for this civil case? Again, this isn't a criminal case, it's civil, so it's going to be a little bit different. Because being able to say that and still move forward is just amazing to me. It is well established that the attorneys are entitled to rely on the representations of their client without having to assess his credibility, because the credibility is solely within the province of the finder of that fact. Rule 11 sanctions should only adhere if the party was satisfied that the statements of a confidential witness and other evidence were not competent or otherwise untrustworthy or cleaned up. As there was nothing unreasonable about the plaintiff's account of the night in question, there is nothing unreasonable about counsel believing her allegations. Well, I would disagree. Furthermore, establishing the reasonableness of counsel's investigation is the fact that in each of the pre-filing interviews, plaintiff appeared consistent and credible in her account of what occurred on the night in question. So basically what they're saying is if it's a lie or if it's the truth, she's been consistent in her story. Okay. So the plaintiff might be saying, okay, well, maybe I got some things wrong, but this is how I remember it. And she's been consistent in repeating that story over and over. Makes sense. Finding that the plaintiff's counsel undertook reasonable pre-filing inquiry where, before proposing the Third Amendment complaint, the plaintiff's counsel conducted numerous interviews with their client and found him to be consistent and credible in his account. Thus, because counsel's pre-filing investigation was thorough and reasonable, Carter's motion should be denied. Moreover, NBC News' own acknowledgement that its report, on which Carter's lawyers principally rely, did not establish the falsity of the plaintiff's claim, and Carter's lawyers' own mistake concerning details on which they also rely, a mistake not made by a assault victim, unequivocally confirmed that Busby correctly has refused to knuckle under to their wrongful demand that he withdraw her claim. They also say none of the factual issues raised by Carter's lawyers justify sanctions. What else do they say? We're not going to go through all this because they're repeating a lot of what they said before and get into the legalese of how things work, right? Carter's motion should be denied because it seeks to evade Rule 12's requirements and impermissibly avoid discovery. Oh, man, they're trying to... Now they're talking about them playing dirty. This motion should be denied for additional reasons that Carter's lawyers filed it plainly and in an effort to avoid discovery and evade the clearly satisfied requirement under Rule 12 that to survive a motion to dismiss, a complaint must contain sufficient factual matter, except as true, to state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face. It is only where no reasonable evidentiary basis for a factual claim was disclosed in pretrial proceedings or at trial that the district court must then scrutinize the objective reasonableness of the attorney's pre-filing inquiry and the basis of the claim developed by that inquiry. Right? Let's keep it moving. Accordingly, the issues of sanctions, including with respect to pleadings, normally will be determined at the end of the litigation. And then they cite Jawbone LLC versus Donahue, refusing to find at an early stage of the litigation without the benefit of discovery and a thorough analysis of the merits of the case. The plaintiff's factual allegations are completely without support. Yeah, they're basically saying the judge should allow this to move forward. I honestly, looking at the case law that they're saying, they might be right on this one. It might be tough. And for Jay-Z, I mean, with this type of lawsuit, if you have so much showing that what she's saying about how things went down are false, then you're doing all this to get out of going to court. Might as well see it through. Because just from what we've seen, there's a lot of reasonable doubt here. I think the large majority of people have said, okay, maybe Jay-Z didn't do this, but he's guilty of something. Now, how would that carry over to a jury? I don't know. But I think if you look the actual facts of this case and what happened and what she's saying went down, it's hard to believe that it happened this way and in this situation. So I would be interested to see from her attorneys what they're saying actually happened and how they're able to show that her and Jay-Z were even in the same room or in the same area, because right now it's not looking like it is. We'd have to wait. We would have to wait and see. Carter's lawyers should be ordered to pay the plaintiff's attorney fees for opposing this frivolous motion. I don't think it's frivolous, but I get what they're saying. And then in conclusion, for the reasons set forth above, the court should deny the motion in its entirety, and the plaintiff and her counsel should be awarded fees and costs incurred in opposing it. Dated yesterday afternoon by Mark E.K., because I'm going to mess up his name. What do y'all think about this, man? Because this is not the end. This is going to keep going and going and going and going and going until we get to a point where it's going to a jury. There's a settlement, which I can't imagine Jay-Z would do after this, or it's dismissed or they drop it. Like it just ceases to exist. So what do y'all think is going to happen? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. What a mess. Oh, we've got a celebrity in the building. Cat Not Williams is in here. Miss 30K is in the building. Shout out to Cat Not Williams. What did she say? She's been a member for 4 months. Oh my gosh. She said, tell me you saw Busby's new website for good PR. Oh, Cat. I have not seen it. I have not seen it, but I read about it in an article. Or actually, I read about it in one of Alex Spiro's motions, where he mentions how Tony Busby conducts business and how he says, oh yeah, I love to use social media to make sure my clients get the outcome that we want. It's crazy. But no, if you have, Kat, can you do me a favor? If you have the link to his website, can you please drop it in the chat? I would love to review it and actually look at it. Because that is wild. Shout out to Cat Not Williams, amazing content creator. Most of y'all in here know Cat Not Williams, but if you don't, one of the smartest YouTubers I know. Absolutely amazing insight into the legal process. She has one of the greatest memories I've seen on YouTube. She does such a great job of breaking down not only documents like this, but doing a live breakdown of what's going on in court. Covered the YSL trial, did a great job with that, and also covers some other news that comes up as well. So make sure y'all go check her out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time she drops a video or goes live, and make sure you watch every video all the way through. Comment, and if you skip the ads, I'm coming for you. All right. So go over there and watch every single ads so that Cat Not Williams can get her bag. All right. And she just hit 30,000 subscribers. Well, not just hit it. It's been a minute, but Cat's over there putting in work. So make sure y'all show her some love. She said, I saw it when I searched his name in the news. He paid for a placement. What does it say? He paid for a placement to announce he had a new website listing his philanthropy and legacy cases. Oh my gosh. And I've actually talked to people who are in like the Houston area and in and around that Texas area, and it seems like a 50-50 conversation when it comes to Tony Busby and his, I guess as you would say, legacy. Some people say, I don't like Tony Busby. He still owes me money. We had somebody in the community say that. And then other people are saying, oh yeah, Tony Busby's a legend. Like he's done a lot of great work out here. He's fought and won a lot of big cases. So I don't know what to do with Tony Busby. All I know is that what I've seen during this whole back and forth, it hasn't looked great for him, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Also, we have a couple other super chats in here. Shout out to Amber Rain, making it rain. Absolutely amazing. Always in here showing love and support. Thank you, Amber Rain. I appreciate you. She says, happy birthday, Rice Daddy. Shout out to Rice Daddy. And Rice Street dropping the 5 bomb as well and says, thank you, Amber Rain. Showing some love back. I appreciate y'all for the support. And then we've also got my guy, Stephen G from Down Under with the 3 bomb, actually. Stephen G. Shout out to Stephen G dropping the money bags. You know what time it is. Thank you, Stephen G. And I always appreciate you stopping by. Let me see who else is in here. Oh, shout out to, we got Lisa Paxson in here. She's giving some insight. What does she say? She says, at my firm, we spend days and hours vetting potential evidence before filing any case. If this claim comes out to be a lie, what a black eye for those of us who try truths. And shout out to Lisa Paxton. Not only is she an amazing member of the community here, but she's also a paralegal in law school, working her way up. Best of luck to you, and congratulations on making it into law school, Lisa. That's awesome. And any insight you have, especially if you're in the legal field, y'all please let me know. Again, I have this much of common sense and even less ability to read these documents. So anytime y'all hear something that we're going through, you maybe feel like you could add more insight to, please do that, because we're here to grow. We're here to learn together. And I always appreciate the professionals coming by here and giving their two cents as well. So thank you. Thank you so much. Shout out to Lisa Paxton in here, and good luck with law school. That's amazing. Yes, Cat Not Williams, Rice Street turned 43 today. Happy birthday to Rice Street. What else are y'all saying in here? I want to see this website too. Oh, Cat Not Williams dropped it in there. There it is. Let me see. Did I miss anybody else that made a comment? Also, thank you to everyone who's liked the video so far. We are at 100% likes. Y'all are amazing, man. Thank y'all for the support. It takes 2 seconds and it really does help the show. So thank you to all 686 of you that liked the video. Let's see. We're going to take a quick detour, and thank you to Cat Not Williams for this. This is crazy. So let's see what Tony Buzbee's talking about. We're going to do our first ever our first ever website review. Let me see. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, shout out to Cat Not Williams as well. She just gifted 5 memberships. I appreciate you, Cat. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you got a membership from Cat Not Williams, make sure you say thank you. Not only that, shout out to Amy for dropping the link to her YouTube channel. Y'all go over there and subscribe. Show her some love. Follow her content. She does an amazing job. And join the memberships over there too, because Hat has some great content as well. Big Black says, I'm a Sue Classy. He stole my bike in 3rd grade. Hey, yo, chill. I wonder if Busby would be my lawyer. Big Black. I thought we worked through that, man. Just because I took it home and it ended up sitting in the backyard for a couple of months, that doesn't mean I stole it. You said I could ride it, and I never saw you again. That's not my fault. Dang, I thought we worked through that, man, but apparently not. Oh, look at this. Royce Williams in here says, the Honorable Royce Williams says, I'm a defense attorney. I see cases like this all the time, and we always file motions to dismiss on these cases. Where I live, you have to provide clear allegations. Shout out to the Honorable Royce Williams. Yo, I feel the fact that we have attorneys in here watching the show. Oh, man. Thank you for being here, Royce Williams. Anytime you want to give insight into what we're discussing here on the show, because as you know, we do talk about a lot of legal cases. Please, please, please do not hesitate to let us know what you think. So shout out to the Honorable Royce Williams in here, a defense attorney. Defense attorneys be out here putting in work. And to me, that just makes sense. Saying that your client has mental health issues and she has all this trauma, and maybe you're building your entire case on maybe she misremembered. Come on, man. Tony Buzbee, you're supposed to be better than that, from what I heard. And you're going to build one of your most prolific cases when it comes to this Diddy situation on someone who may have misremembered. I think what happened was Tony Buzbee thought Jay-Z was going to fold. They tried to have this mediation before everything came out. And Jay-Z said, no, I'm not even talking to you. We know this for a fact, right? They didn't even show up for the meeting. Tony Buzbee said, okay, let's go ahead and amend this claim real quick. If you want to go this way, Jay-Z, we're going to go this way. And now he's starting to go down the wrong path, because Jay-Z, I've seen people and celebrities who have been completely innocent not fight this hard. I've never seen someone want to go and fight the way Jay-Z's fighting and immediately come out and say, oh, no, we're not doing this. And it wasn't, again, y'all are talking about Alex Spiro, who is amazing. We're talking about Jay-Z. He said, no, we're not doing this. I've seen the lawsuit. This didn't happen. You're not going to get me, Tony Busby, you ambulance chaser. Sheesh. So I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if the truth is eventually going to come out, because from what we're seeing from Jay-Z and Alex Spiro are ready to take this the whole way. I don't know. Oh, here we go with Rice Street. Lisa Paxton and Royce Williams, please help take down Classy. He won't send me my ninja slushie maker. Listen, Rice Street, you got to be quicker than that. Anybody that comes on this channel and says that they're in the legal field, especially if they say they're a lawyer, they're instantly retained. Already sent my guy Royce Williams, the Honorable Royce Williams, a Cash App. And what did I say in the note in the Cash App? I said retained. So you can't. I'm 10 steps ahead of you, Rice Street. It's never gonna happen. You gotta try hard. You gotta try harder, man. Busby is one of those lawyers who picks me on Billboard in Kentucky everywhere. Gosh. Let's go ahead and look at what's going on this website, man. We've got Tony Busby. Are we going to say the Honorable Tony Busby? Hey, everybody makes mistakes. Y'all give it up for the Honorable Tony Busby, Anthony G. Busby. What has he got going on his website? And shout out to Cat Not Williams for sending this over. Oh man, what do we see about Tony Busby? Tony Busby's story is one of leadership, advocacy, and giving back. Oh man. Whether it's in the courtroom or the community, he has dedicated his life to standing up for those in need and making a positive impact. His blend of legal expertise, compassion, and philanthropy continue to inspire others and leave a lasting legacy. Wow. Look at him. He's been an attorney. In 2000, Tony Busby founded the Busby Law Firm, a practice committed to advocating for working people, small businesses, and underrepresented groups. Wow, 2000 was a epic year, wasn't it? Hey, yo. He's a philanthropist. I can't even say it. In October of 2021, Busby served as a gala chair for the Houston's Children charity, helping raise a record-breaking $2.8 million. Very nice. To support local children in need. He's a family man. Busby is a devoted father to his 4 children. He balances his demanding career with his personal life, demonstrating a steadfast commitment to family values. Okay. Stop the cap. I'd have to interview the family to vet this one, but if you get to this level as an attorney, I'm sure Royce Williams would say having balance is not an option. Okay, let's be real. So, whatever, Tony. Do your thing. I'm not going to call you out. I'm glad that you're an amazing father. Also, Royce is in here, of course, as in the defense attorney is going to say this. Busby is the worst kind of attorney. He knows that he doesn't have a case, but he wants to get a settlement, hoping that the media will push the defense into a corner. Jay-Z's from New York, man. You don't play with those New York dudes. He is standing 15 toes down right now. We need more defense attorneys and clients willing to fight claims like this, because a lot of the time my clients won't fight this because of the media backlash. Oh, Royce, I can see this. And I even confessed. Yeah, y'all see what we're doing here with the YouTube channel. At some point, you have to take into factor your time. And if you're growing, if you're a rising star, if you're building a certain platform, at some point you got to ask yourself, do you want this to go away? Or do you want to fight this and see this through? Because think about it. Say Jay-Z fights this all the way. He sees it all the way through and he gets to the end and he still loses this. What are people going to say? Let's say he sees this through and his motions are granted, This girl is exposed. Tony Busby takes an L. Again, it's still not gonna look great. Oh, Jay-Z, we know you're guilty. You're picking on the poor disabled woman. And we know something still happened. You were named in this lawsuit, so something had to happen. So you have to think, was the right choice mediation? Was the right choice to just say, hey, Tony, I know you're full of shit. I know you have nothing here, but let's go ahead. Let's keep me in there as celebrity A. I'll write $10 million check to this anonymous victim, and then I get to go to bed at night. That's when you have the ability to do that, Royce, I hear you. I hear you, man. It's a hard decision to make. And I think about it now, if I'm a billionaire and I've done all this building my reputation, allegedly doing things the right way, creating this entire empire, and I just have to write a little check and no one will ever know who celebrity A is. I'm doing it, man. My daughter just starred in the new Mufasa movie. You know, my wife is out here doing big things, performing, creating country albums, evolving. I'm working with the NFL, getting Kendrick Lamar up there for the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't have time to deal with this. It's tough, man. It's so tough. And I'm sure Royce will attest to this too. A lot of the reason that so many people in that situation don't go through this process that Jay-Z's going through, it's not because they don't have the money. It's not because they don't want to do the back and forth. It's because of time. Time is such a valuable resource, and they don't want to waste the time on this. But Jay-Z, apparently he's built different, and he said, man, I don't care. We're going to go through this. I'm going to take the time on this one because now we've gone too far. So I feel you, Royce, and it's got to be frustrating because you want somebody to take a stand and not let the Tony Busbys and the ambulance chasers exist, but you cannot buy enough time. And I get it. I definitely get it. Shout out to Amazing Grace in the building. Dottie's up in here. Good to see you, Grace. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's keep reading. What's going on with our guy, Tony Busby? Tony Busby is born on June 1st, 1968 in Atlanta, Texas. I did not know there was an Atlanta, Texas. He grew up on a farm alongside his parents and 3 siblings. His rural upbringing installed him in the values of hard work and determination, which have been central to his remarkable career. Busby's educational background began at Texas A&M, where he earned a bachelor's degree of science, Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. During his time at Texas A&M, he was a member of the Corps of Cadets and served as a battalion commander of the NROTC Midshipman Battalion, demonstrating leadership qualities that would define his future endeavors. He later pursued a Juris Doctor at the University of Houston Law Center, laying the foundation for his impactful legal career. Not to mention, Tony Busby is retired military. So shout out and thank you, Tony Busby, for your service. I appreciate you. In 2000, Busby founded the Busby Law Firm, a practice committed to advocating for working people, small businesses, and underrepresented groups. His firm handles a wide range of legal matters, including personal injury claims, workplace incidents, defective products and medical devices, commercial litigation, and gender discrimination cases. So I guess that's why he took on Deshaun Watson. Known for taking on high stakes and high profile cases, the Busby Law Firm extends its services beyond Texas, assisting clients across the country. The firm's reputation for excellence is matched by its dedication to community involvement, Under Busby's law firm or leadership, the firm has become a pillar of support for charitable causes. In October of 2021, Busby served as a okay, we already read that, raised $2.8 million to support local children in need. In another act of generosity, he donated his $3.5 million exotic car collection to the Jesse Tree, an organization that provides essential services such as food, clothing, medical assistance, and job training to disadvantaged communities. Wow. Additionally, Busby chaired the Citizens of Animal Protection Gala in 2020, showcasing his commitment to the welfare of animals. Look at this guy, man. An upstanding citizen. And then, of course, they've got his news articles. I'm sure. I wonder if the case about Deshaun Watson is in here somewhere. No, these are all recent. Let's see. The role of leadership, lessons from the time at Texas A&M. Okay, so all of these articles are recent. Okay. He has a blog in here too. He said, "Are those cheeks implanted?" Hey, yo, y'all leave this man alone. He's out here doing some good work. Championing the underdog, my most notable legal victories. Oh, I bet this is a good one. From the farm to the courtroom, how my rural roots shaped my career in law. I bet Deshaun Watson is mentioned in here for sure. Y'all, this is interesting. Y'all want to hear about this? Let me see what the chat is saying. Championing the underdog, the most notable legal victories. When I founded the Busby Law Firm in 2000, I made a conscious decision to focus on people who needed help the most. From individuals facing life-altering injuries to small businesses fighting against corporate giants, I've always believed that the legal system should work for everyone, not just the privileged few. Over the years, I've had the honor of representing clients in cases that have not only changed their lives, but also reaffirmed my commitment to championing the underdog. Here are some of the cases that stand out most in my career and what they've taught me about justice, resilience, and the power of law. Standing up against corporate negligence. I think this is one of his biggest cases that we've talked about. One of the most challenging and rewarding cases I've handled involved a group of workers who suffered injuries due to unsafe working conditions. These individuals were hardworking people doing their best to provide for their families, but their employer cut corners on safety to save money. When they came to me, they were up against a large corporation with seemingly endless resources. The company denied any wrongdoing, hired an army of lawyers, and tried to intimidate us into dropping the case. But giving up wasn't an option. After months of preparation and a hard-fought trial, we secured a multi-million-dollar settlement for the workers. Beyond the monetary award, the case set a clear message to corporations. Cutting corners on safety at the expense of workers' lives is unacceptable. It was a victory not just for my clients, but for workers everywhere. All right. Fighting for survivors of abuse. Uh-oh, here we go. Is this the one? Another case that remains close to my heart, interesting way to put it, involved representing survivors of abuse. These cases are often emotionally taxing, not only for the survivors, but also for everyone involved. My clients showed incredible courage by coming forward, knowing that doing so meant reliving painful experiences. The defendants in this case were high-profile individuals who used their power and influence to silence the victims. My role was to ensure that my clients' voices were heard and that justice was served. After extensive litigation, we achieved a favorable outcome, holding the perpetrators accountable. Most importantly, my clients were able to reclaim their dignity and begin the healing process. Representing these brave individuals reaffirmed my belief in the importance of giving a voice to those who feel powerless. All right, well, there it is. He said ChatGPT wrote this. Oh, man. So I don't think he's not going to mention Deshaun Watson by name, but our guy, the Honorable Royce Williams, says Deshaun should not have settled any of his claims. He had valid and enforceable NDAs, but when the claims can affect your pay, people tend to get scared and settle. Yeah, but with him working in and for the NFL, it seems like he might be in okay company there. I mean, no offense to the NFL. And I think the Browns, it's looking like they may have made the right choice, but I don't think he would have been hurt that bad. I don't know. Oh man, Wendy Taylor's in here talking about Jaguar, right? Oh, God. I don't listen to anything Jaguar Wright says other than to laugh. Without Googling, what does A&M stand for? Is it agriculture and something? I don't know. It's literally 5,500 people in Atlanta, Texas. Man, probably has 5 stoplights. Yeah, the NFL, I don't know, man. Hopefully he's not a Tom. Oh yeah, winning high profile cases only to find out he embezzled the victim's money. Well, I mean, he gave away his $3.5 million car collection. Sheesh. No, because Washington was trying to get back on the field. Yeah, the Browns they weren't having it. Jaguar Wright is not credible. Agriculture, and I don't know what the M stands for though. I don't know. Do y'all know what it stands for? Jaguar is not credible. She's also said Megan Thee Stallion was a man. Yeah, I don't listen to Jaguar Wright. It's wild. Anyway, shout out to y'all, man, for having a great conversation. And thank you to Cat Not Williams for sending over Tony Busby's website. If y'all want a link to it, I'll put it in the chat for you again. It's great. Jaguar Wright. Oh my God. Shout out to my guy, Stephen G in here. Oh my goodness. Dropping another one. He's got another super chat in here with the 8 bomb. He says, not to mention Busby loves money. Oh, clearly. I mean, if he's giving away a $3.5 million car collection, he's doing okay. The M stands for manufactured. So it's agriculture. It's agriculture and manufactured? Really? Weird. Is it mining? You know what I'm saying? What does it stand for, man? I don't know. No, Wendy Taylor, she is just convinced that Jay-Z is guilty. Wendy Taylor is one of those he's guilty of something type people. I have a feeling, Wendy, right? You'll probably say, oh, well, he might not be guilty of this, but he's guilty of something. Nobody's saying he's a perfect angel. We're just saying this lawsuit is BS. All right, let's get into this next topic. Thank y'all for hanging out, man. We've got another one to get to. Speaking of Diddy, oh man.
Another one.
We've got Diddy back in the news, and this is somewhat breaking news because I guess Diddy, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's seeing how Jay-Z is fighting and how his lawyers are going in for him. He decided to fight back because we have some news that Diddy is filing a $50 million lawsuit. We're going to get into what happened. Y'all check this out. Shout out to XXL Magazine. They say Diddy has filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Courtney Burgess, who I did not realize was a dude, and his attorney, Ariel Mitchell, and News Nation. Why? The lawsuit accuses Burgess, Mitchell, and News Nation of deliberately fabricating and implying false claims about Diddy for financial gain. Burgess appeared on News Nation's Banfield show in November of 2024 and claimed he'd seen 8 of Diddy's alleged freak-off tapes. Oh, Lord. Which Burgess claimed included unnamed celebrity minors. We're going to get into the interview here from News Nation shortly, so y'all hold on for that. Burgess also testified before the Combs grand jury in the Southern District of New York last November. Diddy is seeking punitive and monetary damages. Diddy's attorney, Erica Wolf, has released the following statement to XXL about the new lawsuit. Sean Diddy Combs is taking a stand against the malicious falsehoods that have been fabricated and amplified by individuals seeking to profit at his expense. The defendants have willfully fabricated and disseminated outrageous lies with reckless disregard for the truth. Their falsehoods have poisoned public perception and contaminated the jury pool. I don't think the jury pool needs help contaminating, but if you say so. This complaint should serve as a warning that such intentional falsehoods which undermine Combs' right to fair trial will no longer be tolerated. Okay, so now let's get into the interview and see what Courtney was actually saying. Shout out to News Nation for this. I'll leave the link to the full video in the description.
Because my next guest just testified before a federal grand jury. He says he was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freak-offs and parties. His name is Courtney Burgess, and he says a friend gave him 11 flash drives that belonged to the late Kim Porter. And if you follow this story, you'll know that Kim Porter is Diddy's ex-girlfriend and the mother of 4 of his kids. On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties.
Oh, Lord.
And that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake. Courtney Burgess told his story on a podcast before he told the grand jury today, and after he told the grand jury, and I mean immediately after, he booked it over to my set, and he and his attorney talked to me. I should tell you that he was very limited in how much detail he could go into about his testimony. And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of sex crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them, famous or not.
Wow.
Here now is my conversation with Courtney Burgess and Ariel Mitchell, who's his attorney, beginning with the question of whether the participants in the video even knew they were being recorded. Were there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes.
That's
what
Courtney
took
right
place,
there.
yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms?
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled. I knew that it was a camera there because I was there. You know, I was there. I don't know if the person was too tall, he was holding it or whatever, but I wasn't there.
May I ask you this, Courtney? And Ariel, you can jump in on this as well, but I want to hear from Courtney first. Your home was raided by federal authorities, and I assume it is because of this material. Is that true?
I wouldn't say that. They just went to every one of them looking for me. They said, the paperwork said the 24th, that I had to be there the 28th, and then it was the 27th. I said, I can't make it there. That's tomorrow. So I don't know.
Check out those
From
lenses,
the look
man.
of it, was 4 days.
And I want to be specific. When we talk about a raid, we're talking about when a subpoena is served for documents, a search warrant or an arrest warrant. In this situation, Mr. Burgess was not in any way, shape, or form had a search warrant or an arrest warrant issued for him. It was just them serving a subpoena. So when the federal government needs to serve a subpoena, they use the Marshal Service to come to all of your residences if you have more than one residence. So in this situation, they sent marshals to all of Mr. Burgess's residences, and that was somehow construed or understood or turned into a raid, but he did not face a raid. It was just to serve him the subpoena.
Ariel.
So now recently, this reminds me, you have Diddy's lawyers came out and they saw that they were able to view 9 videos from this trial that's upcoming, right? And that was where the videos where Diddy's attorney said that Cassie was enjoying herself. So I wonder if the videos that Courtney allegedly had and that were, I guess, taken in this raid are the videos that the defense was able to see. It'll be interesting. Just a thought. Y'all let me know what you think or if they're totally separate.
Do you believe that the subpoenas were issued and executed based on the federal authorities' knowledge that these flash drives existed and had this kind of compromising material?
I think it was based on statements that Mr. Burgess made in a prior interview.
And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women.
Those aren't glasses.
How many
That's
of
a
those
mirror.
8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
How would you know?
All. To be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized,
Yeah.
meaning
Victim.
this was happening to them and they were
victim.
inebriated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, victim.
Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
Yeah, that's what they was.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3.
Ow.
Possibly 3.
2 to 3. Also on the flash drives, Courtney, was what looked to be a manuscript written by, it appears to be a woman who had taken Kim Porter's private journals and had written a book. Is that accurate?
We don't know.
I
don't know how. Yeah.
I don't know how, who wrote it, put it together, but it was from her when I spoke to her.
Interesting.
What you received on the flash drives, was it the completed book or was it notes from Kim Porter that later were made into a book?
It was completed. It's only 60,
Okay.
it's only about 54 pages. It was
Sure, and in the beginning, it says, Kim made me promise that if something happened to her, I would make sure this book became public to the world. The way Sean moved, I knew that was a promise I would have to fulfill. Kim knew I was a woman of my word, and this book was going to make it to print. So it sounds like it is a woman who wrote up the notes from Kim Porter. Does that sound accurate?
It's how you read it, yes. I haven't even read the book.
Do you know who the woman is?
No.
And to be clear, he.
All right, our body language experts are going crazy in the comments right now. Look at his eyes, man. I never even read the book. Do you know the woman? No. Come on, brother. This is a tough one.
Received it in its complete form. So I think just to make sure we have some clarity here, the manuscript that Mr. Burgess received was already in its complete form. It's not that he edited it or changed anything.
Got it.
He did give it to someone
Makes
else
sense.
who then edited it, but that's not how he received it.
Shout out to Ariel.
Okay,
doing her
so
lawyer
Ariel,
thing.
did your client,
Ariel.
Courtney, receive the book from the woman who seems to have written it, saying, I'm a woman of my word, and this book is going to make it to print?
I don't know if he received it from a man or a woman. He can answer that.
I received it from a man. I tell you, somebody she was dating.
Somebody Kim was
Do you
dating?
know if the notes from the book really were from Kim Porter?
It was, yes, because I spoke to her probably like 6 hours before I got it, received it.
You spoke to Kim Porter?
Yes.
So Kim Porter.
Just saying hi.
Okay.
Just saying hi. Didn't
Okay, Ariel, go ahead and give me clarity on the timeline.
This is a disaster, man. I don't see, God. I mean, I guess, I don't know if Diddy's going to get any money out of this. Y'all have to let me know what you think about this lawsuit. It doesn't seem like a big deal to me. Courtney's saying the whole lot of nothing. He's all, honestly just looks like a hype man for Ariel, his attorney. So he's back there. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's right. Woman. So, I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think, man. The comments and in the chat. What's going to happen with this Diddy lawsuit? We'll have to wait and see. Oh my gosh. I don't know why she let him do this interview, but hey, shout out to Ariel. I'll leave a link to this in the description of the video. Is this who they thought TD Jakes was? Oh, Mo, don't do that. Dang. They say, oh yeah, that looks like TD Jakes. It was really Courtney Burgess. Oh my God. I can see it. I can see it. No, that's crazy. Rice Street said that's TD fakes. Oh man. So he's saying I'll Be Sure gave it to him. That's the only other dude there was. Uh-oh. Kim Porter, actress, mother of Diddy's 4 kids, 1994 to 2000. She died 2018 from pneumonia. Weird stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna set y'all free, man. This show has been amazing. Happy birthday to my guy, Rice Street. Happy 43rd, man. I appreciate everything you mean to the show, everything you are as a person, and may God bless you with many, 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 many more. 3 times more than you already got. If you want to live that long. I mean, it's up to you. Happy birthday, Rice Street. Honestly, I appreciate you. Thank you for all the support that you give and for making this an even more enjoyable show. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Make sure you like the video on your way out, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live. You know we're going to be back here end of the week the right way tomorrow morning at 10:30, and I promised, I made a pledge to y'all that I'm going to make sure I'm here on time every single time for the rest of the year. So it's going to happen. Y'all know what to do. Keep growing. Keep pushing. Keep it classy. We gone. Peace.